5 points. Inshallah ta'ala, if you stick to these 5 points, you will remain steadfast. Number 1, guys. These are practical steps that I want you guys to take away. Some of you guys may have heard certain clips going around when me speaking about these 5 things. They are essential to every single Muslim, especially if you're a youngster living in this dar of fitna. What's number 1, guys? Who said that? Number 1, guys, is salah. I don't care what's happening in your life, brothers and sisters. Don't leave off the salah. If you are the biggest drug dealer in Ohio, if you're here, welcome to the Masjid Sheikh. If you are the biggest drug dealer in Ohio, Columbus, don't leave off the salah. The shaitan sometimes will whisper, how can you be drug dealing and you're also what? Praying at the same time. That is a trap from the shaitan. Likewise, if you are a sister who is selling herself or doing whatever, posting on the World Wide Web, getting money out of that, I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Don't leave off the salah. Right? You know why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ تَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنكَرِ. The salah removes the filth and the evil from your life. I want to share with you guys something that Fusi said. And excuse me for using him as an example. However, the fact that a lot of you guys know him, right, you may be able to relate. I have enough quotes from the Salaf, the righteous of the past, the 3 golden to the Sahaba, the Tabi'een, the Atba' Tabi'een, who said this and who said that. You're probably going to think, oh my, Allah yarhamu, may Allah have mercy upon him. May Allah be pleased with him. I can't relate. We're in the 21st century, right? Did anybody see his interview just before his boxing match? He was being asked, how are you feeling? Guys, it's very, very important now, right? You might be able to take inspiration from it. Just before his boxing match, he's asked, how are you feeling? You know what he says? I left off drinking alcohol. I stopped consuming drugs. I stopped watching pornography. I stopped doing that stuff that men do to themselves. I don't do zina anymore. And I'm staying on top of my salah. And I could not feel any better. This is the same person who has announced his apostasy more than once. Isn't that so? Every now and again we see, I don't even watch these guys, but it reaches me. I'm leaving Islam. I have bipolar. Someone who has or had previously issues with his mental health. Right? But then now he's saying what? I'm staying on top of my salah and I could not feel any better and it's helping my mental health. This is you guys. I've said it before and I'll say it again, guys. I had a good friend who was running the drug dealing industry. You guys heard it before? Yeah. He's moving drugs from A to B, guys. From A to B. Time when the salah kicks in, he stops his car. Takes out the praying mat and he starts praying. 3 of his non-Muslim friends became Muslim. They were like, this guy's up to something, huh? He never gets arrested, let's become Muslim as well. Right? This brother has flipped his life around, guys. He has flipped his life around. I put it down to not leaving of the salah. Number 2, guys. Number 2. All of you guys are writing it down because this may make or break your life, guys. Number 2, keeping a relation with the masjid. I said it before and I'll say it again, guys. If someone just walked out of the club and he wanted to walk into the masjid, should we prevent him from doing so? The house of Allah Azza wa Jal is where your iman will go sky high. Even there's a narration which has been attributed to the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, which states, إِذَا رَأَيْتُم مَّنْ يَعْتَادُ الْمَسْجِدَ فَاشْهَدُوا لَهُ بِالْإِيمَانِ. If you see somebody going back and forth to the masjid, bear witness that he has iman. Right? The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us, وَأَتْبِعِ السَّيِّئَةَ الْحَسَنَةَ تَمْحُهَا. Follow the bad deed up with a good deed. What happens? He erases it. And you should do the righteous act which is similar to the evil act that you've done. What do I mean by that? As Ibn Taymiyyah mentioned, you walked inside of the club. Where should you walk into? The masjid. Because you used your feet for haram, right? Now go and use your feet for that which is pleasing to Allah Azza wa Jalla. A sister just walked out of the club and she's dressed inappropriately and she wants to sit in the masjid. Right? Are you allowed to stop her? No, you can't. Sometimes we treat the masajid as if they are our property. Last time I checked, it says Baytullah, the house of Allah Azza wa Jalla. And everybody's welcome. No matter how that individual is dressed, he should not be made to feel uncomfortable, brothers and sisters. Sometimes we are the reason why people are chased away, right? Number three, Tawbah. Guys, I'm nearly done. Number 3, guys, Tawbah. Can somebody tell me how many times did the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam seek forgiveness in a sitting? Some narrations state 70, some narrations state 100. Right? And the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam didn't have any past or future sins. In the sexualized society that we live in, brothers and sisters, right, where they objectify women, right, they use them as sexual objects. You see a toothpaste that is being sold, a toothpaste or a toothbrush, being advertised on a billboard, and right alongside it you have a half-naked woman. What on earth does the half-naked woman got to do with the toothbrush, guys? Because they realize, right, sexualizing her in this way, objectifying her, is what's going to grab the attention of the consumer. It's right before our eyes. Right? Even Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi once mentioned, if you want to corrupt a nation, then corrupt their women. Once they become corrupted, everything else will become corrupted as well. Right? And a man's biggest problem is what? Woman. Man's biggest fitna is none other than women. I said this in another masjid, and they thought that I was referring to women as a problem. No. Just in case somebody misunderstands me. The existence of a woman is not problematic. However, men just have a problem. And their problem is women. They struggle with that. Right? With everything that now has been put right before our eyes, my brothers and my sisters, it is affecting our hearts. It's piercing through it. Whether they may be on the internet, whether they may be in university, whether they may be on a hot summer's day. Even in a winter's day, guys, on a Friday night. Just don't go to downtown if you guys have one here. With all that you will end up seeing, how that impacts your heart. We are not in need of saying, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. Constantly repenting, guys. I'm going to give you guys, inshallah ta'ala, a solution to the different addictions that we have. Every time you fall back into that addiction, get up, go make wudu, and then pray 2 rakat. Every time you fall into that sin, and the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us, never does an individual sin. He stands up, he makes wudu, and then he prays 2 raka'at, except that Allah will forgive him. Don't feel like you're being hypocritical or that you're not worthy of being forgiven. Nah. Shaitan wants you to feel like that. You fell back into that sin and now you're remorseful. Get up and do that wudu. Pray 2 raka'at in private. Just as you did that sin in private, go and pray that in private. ذنوب الخلوات سبب الانتكاسات وعبادة الخلوات سبب للثبات. Ibn al-Qayyim mentioned this, right? The secret sins that you do in private is the reason that you will fall off. And the acts of worship that you do in private is a cause for you to remain steadfast. Right? Private sin versus the private ibadah. And the second thing, my brothers and my sisters, I'll tell you with regards to this addiction that you have, I want every single one of you guys, when you go home today, to take a pen and paper and to write down the sins that keep bugging you. It's one thing identifying the problem, brothers and sisters, it's another finding the solution. And if we're in denial, we'll never be able to overcome our problems. I've accepted that I have an issue. I'm going to try and find a solution for it now. But first, you have to accept you have that problem, guys. You have to write down, what is it that constantly keeps dragging me back to that sin? Have you guys heard of Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam? There's a verse in the Quran which speaks about an incident. إِذْ عُرِضَ عَلَيْهِ بِالْعَشِيِّ الصَّافِنَاتِ الْجِيَادِ. Did you know, my brothers and my sisters, that Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam was once distracted? Right? He was distracted. What caused him to be distracted? His finely branded horses. They visited him from the Asr prayer and he missed it. You know what he did? He slaughtered all of his finely branded horses. Would anyone put their Tesla up for auction? Anybody got a Tesla here? Huh? The brothers are feeling, mashallah. They're doing well with that. Ala kulli hal, would anyone now, because him being distracted with the nice car that he has, put it up for auction? Not that I'm saying you should. Right? Or he gets rid of his car because it distracted him from Allah. Then will he do that? That's what Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam done. A brother, not so long ago, bombarded me with messages saying how he's addicted to pornography. And I told him every single time, get rid of the smartphone that you have. Is it the smartphone causing you this problem? He goes, na'am. So get rid of it. It might well be time, my brothers and my sisters, especially before the month of Ramadan, right, to bring back the trap phone. Remember the brick phones we used to have back in the day? Oh, wallahi, brothers, and be serious, and sisters. The psychologists, they say, if you want to get rid of a bad habit, you need 20 days. 20 days as a detox. You get rid of the smartphone. Can we function without the smartphone? Without the shadow of doubt. Can we function without TikTok? Instagram? La shakka wa la rayb. Please don't make it look like as if this has become from the essentials of life. Using TikTok. A'udhu billah from the app. Ask Allah Azza wa to send somebody down, right? To delete this app. Say Ameen, guys. Ameen. Make sure you delete before you leave here as well. Are you brothers and sisters with me? Yeah. I picked this brother, get rid of it from. Some time went past, I gave a lecture in his locality. He came running behind me after the lecture. And he said, look, you know what he had? He had the trap phone on it. He goes, ever since I went back to this trap phone, I did not go back to pornography. Wallahi al-Azim, he said this to me, guys. And many others, they have the success story as well. And as with whatever sin it might be, you have to identify what is it causing you not to continue going back to the sin. How many is that? 3. Shame. Number 4. Read a bit of Quran every single day, brothers and sisters. Every day read a little bit of Quran, starting from now with Ramadan. Every day read a little bit of Quran. Right? Start that relationship now. Because by the time Ramadan starts, you're struggling to get in gear, and by the time you get in gear, it's already done. Even if you are carrying on the worst of sins, is it difficult to take out that Quranic app on your phone and just to read one page every day? Right? Is that difficult, brothers and sisters, no matter what's happening in your life? And even if you can't do that, you can't read Qul Huwallahu Ahad, going from one place to another. Qul a'udhu bi rabbil falaq, Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas. إنما المؤمنون الذين إذا ذكر الله وجلت قلوبهم وإذا تليت عليهم آياته زادتهم إيمانا. It's one of those things that really increase your iman. These are 4 things now that increase your iman, brothers and sisters. And number 5, last but not least. And it's the crux of the matter, my brothers and my sisters. We have to be seeking knowledge. We have to be seeking knowledge. Right? Enough is enough. Right? Feeling sorry for ourselves. Our children are being taken away from us. Our children, right, they're confused about their pronouns. We don't know how to answer certain things. This is becoming extremely widespread, right? Sometimes what happens, my brothers and my sisters, and it's unfortunate. And I even one time seen a video of this guy, I'm not going to mention the ethnicity, who apostated. And I was like, subhanAllah, man, the guy's right. He came home with all doubts, roaming around his head, confused about Islam. You know what the parents done? They started beating him. Right? They took him downstairs into the attic and they started beating him. They thought maybe he had a jinn, let's take the jinn out. Right? And then they called the sheikh to read Quran on him. That guy doesn't have a jinn. He simply doesn't know. And that is because he hasn't been educated with Islamic knowledge. Right? And when he said that, I remember so many other cases. Sometimes the parent gets angry. Why are you getting angry? You didn't educate them. Right? And look at us as a generation. If we don't know, and I'm speaking to every single one of you guys here, if we don't know, don't expect the next generation to know, guys. When they're walking home and saying, Dad, right, I want to marry Mark. And that's a boy saying this. And he just simply doesn't know what the issue is at this, because everybody's doing it. Everyone's doing it. When this thing started surfacing, right, everyone was like, oh wow, look what's happening. It was a big deal. Look how desensitized we came to it now, right? It's just another guy, right? And things are only going to get worse. As the Prophet ﷺ said, لا يأتي زمان إلا الذي بعده شر منه. There doesn't come a time except the time that comes after is better or worse? Worse. We are in need of beneficial knowledge, my brothers, that's going to help us navigate and maneuver around all of these doubts that are coming our way and the temptations that we deal with. Today, my brothers and my sisters, I'm sure you guys at least took a little bit, right, from what we said. That's just a raindrop in an ocean, guys, of knowledge that is out there. At least now, we have a bit of an idea in how to maneuver and navigate around a lot of these challenges that we have as ilm, guys. That we need, which we can't function without. Just ask all of these YouTubers who are depressed. They don't know how to get around it. They need that knowledge and they don't have it. And if they knew, they would give everything up for it. You guys have students of knowledge, mashayikh around you. Right? Just right now, I met a very nice brother that I knew back in Saudi Arabia. He's the brother of our Sheikh here. His name is Sheikh Hassan Warsame. I actually thought he was Australian. But because he hangs around with the Australians, that's why I thought that. But he's back here. Right? Benefit from people like that. And also, mashallah, our brother, he gives reminders and he teaches. He's doing a lot for the community. I've seen a couple of videos going around here and there. I thought he was in Minnesota. Right? Does that make sense, brothers and sisters? Learn something. A lot of people think that you only learn if you want to become the next big sheikh or you want to stand on the minbar to give khutbahs. No, brothers and sisters. You can't function in this cosmic universe without knowledge. That's why even some of these multi-millionaires, right, or billionaires should I say, when they wake up in the morning and start reading, they say knowledge is power. That's what they say. So knowledge is power. And I forgot to mention also, subhanAllah, when I was speaking about the masjid. Right? This is point number 2, right? Having that relationship with the masjid, at least pray one prayer every single day. You can't do 5, which is of course the best possible thing. Do 4, 3. You can't do 3, do 2. You can't do even 2. 1, brothers and sisters. And if there's one prayer, my brothers and my sisters, that I would love for you to pray in the masjid, it is the Fajr prayer. Shall I give you guys a perfect morning? You wake up just before Fajr. maybe 5-10 minutes, and you pray the night prayer. Right? 2 rak'at, 1 rak'at, 3, whatever is easy for you. Right? The adhan will go off, you pray that 2 rak'at, rak'at al-fajr khayrun min ad-dunya wa ma fiha. 2 rak'at that you pray between the adhan and the iqamah, and then you head towards the masjid, you pray there. And if you can, you stay in the masjid up until sunrise during the Quran. That is the perfect morning. See how you will feel, my brothers and my sisters, the moment you walk out of the masjid. You know, one thing I've seen, right, pretty common in the lives of multi-millionaires, they all wake up in the morning. They are high-value men, right? They wake up in the morning, right? They're not bums, going to sleep, even though they have the money, waking up at 10 a.m., guys. Are you brothers and sisters with me?
Yes.
They all wake up in the morning. So recently I had a video of a brother, him talking about how you have some of these non-Muslims that wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning to take his kelb, babies, his dog, to go out for a walk. He wakes up at 5 a.m. in the morning. But we can't wake up to Allah Azza wa Jalla to pray Fajr, guys. Look what that will impact, and look what that will do to your innocence. Last point was what? Really, guys, learn your religion. And if you don't, you've only got yourself to blame later on down the line. All you guys want to get married. Inshallah. Anybody here doesn't want to get married?
4 wives. Inshallah.
He said 4 wives. Just handle one. Don't worry about me. I'm scared, guys. I'm one of those guys. Like, brothers and sisters, learn your religion. You all want to get married. You all want you're going to want to have children after. That's a big responsibility, guys. You might as well do something about it now. Even the person that you choose to marry, they're the ones who are going to be spending a lot of time with the children. So you might as well do your children a favor right now by choosing the right person. وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. I think there's a Q&A. Okay, who can give me the first 5? The whole 5. Number 1, Salah. Number 2, Masjid. Number 3, Tawbah. Number 4, Quran. And 5, seek knowledge. And again, a big thanks to the Masjid and the security that we have as well for helping with the situation of the conference, the lecture. May Allah Azza wa Jalla reward you all. Ameen.